Okay, okay. So let's just go through. So today, as I told yesterday, that like today is going to be all the sessions we've done, but you will be taking turns to present the different parts of the sessions. So so Pankaj sir won't be able to join. So we are I think the remaining is five, right, Deepa? Without Pankaj sir.
One, two, three, four, five. Yes.
Five. So five of you will take turns and present the different things. So whoever is doing the session should tag somebody else to do the next session. Okay, so that we get to hear from everybody. Um, so let's start with a recap of the day. Like in your sessions, when you hold sessions, it will not be a 1 day session. It's going to be 2 day session most probably. So if you're coming on the second day and you are facilitating the recap of the day, how will you go about it? I am going to go in alphabetical order, so I will choose Amit sir. And after Amit sir can choose the next person for the next session. So Amit sir, how will you go about
Yes.
doing the recap of the day one? Like
Okay.
you imagine we are all the participants and you are the facilitator.
Okay. So first of all, we will actually greet everyone. Okay. Good morning, guys. Now we are moving to the second day. But can somebody tell me what did we learn? What did we discuss yesterday? What were
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
things that?
all the others should also get into the role of participants. So when there is a facilitator, the others should automatically become the participants and participate. So this
Okay.
will give you a feel of how your sessions are going to be live. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. So can any one of you tell me one point? Okay. I will just take not take alphabetically. I will just choose randomly. So can Mukesh sir tell me one point about yesterday that we learned that you remember? Yes, Mukesh sir.
Thank you, sir. Well, yesterday we have learned about the difference between andragogy and pedagogy.
Okay.
Pedagogy is something related with teaching to the students, um, and andragogy is related with the uh, adult teaching.
Okay. So I would just request ma'am, Rasi ma'am, can you do you want to add something in it that Mukesh sir has told us? You are not audible. You are not audible. I am not able to hear you, but I don't know about the others.
No, we can't hear her. Ma'am, are you muted?
I can hear only because I am just sitting by you. So
Rashi ma'am,
I can. Okay. Uh,
can you help
while
her with the
while
device?
while that she is fixing his, her problem, I would just nominate Hariram sir. Sir, would you like to add something that Mukesh sir told us about?
Yes, actually, yesterday the session, one point I'm going to share that was the difference between teaching and facilitation.
Okay, very good.
And
So
one more thing,
yes.
it was told that the facilitators perform the task using certain skills.
Hmm.
Such skills allows the individuals or the group to set their learning goal.
Okay. So can you
The
recall one or
role
two
of the role of facilitator is just to guide party and take the more and more participation from the adult teachers. Okay. And then we question related practice was also done yesterday, in which we discussed the questions given by Bindu ma'am.
Okay. So can any one of you can tell me the one point has been described by Hariram sir. Can any one of you tell me one more important point? What is the main difference between facilitator and a teacher? Any one of you?
Now, can you hear
Yes,
me, sir?
Yes.
Yeah, I would like to add. Sorry, Garima, for interrupting you.
it's okay, ma'am.
Would you like to go? Would you like to go first?
It's okay, ma'am. I would follow you. You please go on. I will tell you.
Okay, thank you, Garima. I would like to add one more point to this. We also discussed, yeah, I'm sorry. Sir was asking me about the one more difference between teaching and facilitating. So, facilitator is a guide who helps the workshop to go in a smooth manner, and he ensures that everybody is participating, and the participation is full. And again, we also discussed about adult education and different aspects of adult education. And because we are going to deal with the participants who are adults, so it's very
Okay.
important to understand their psychology, the kind of response they will be giving in our workshop. So we have to be ready for them, and we have to prepare accordingly for those workshops. Um
Okay.
I
Agreed.
think. Thank you.
Now I just hand over my role of as a facilitator to Garma ma'am, and now she will facilitate us, and we will be trainees. Or okay, over to you, Garma ma'am.
So, sir, so what I meant was we will go to the next session facilitation. So now we understood,
Okay.
how to facilitate the recap of the day, right? Thank you, sir, very much. This was very nicely done.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, very nicely done. Yeah. So now what will we go do is, so now we've crossed the recap part of the thing. Okay, before going into the next session, yesterday there was one question on overlapping. I will just clear that and then we will go to the next session. Like about overlapping distractors, right? Overlapping options. And you wanted an example for other things also, like writing and thing, but I couldn't find for grammar and vocabulary a good example. So I'm just going to share a reading comprehension example only. I think it was Garima ma'am who asked, right? Overlapping options.
It was Rajshri ma'am.
Rashri ma'am,
It
sorry.
was but Hachi ma'am, yes, ma'am. But still, the same thing is with it would be good if we also understand.
Yeah, yeah. So I got a good example from our system only. All of you familiar with this poem, Tiger in the Zoo?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, it's in our textbook, 10th
Oh, it's in
class.
your textbook. Very good.
Yes.
Okay,
Class
then,
11.
Class 11? Okay.
Yes.
okay,
10th class, ma'am. 10th class.
okay, okay. So there are 5 stanzas here. Like, let's do this as an icebreaker. Like, 5 of you read each of the stanza aloud. Each stanza aloud. Like one of each one take a turn. And
Okay. So I will start first
it would
actually.
be nice. It would be nice if you can read it with some emotion.
Nah, I'm unable to do that actually. I'm not doing it.
Okay. Okay, fine. Yeah,
So
whatever.
I would just read it like a passage.
Okay, whatever you're comfortable with. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. He stops in his vivid strips, the few steps of his cage on pads of velvet quiet in his quiet ways.
Okay, next person. Joshi, sir.
He should be lurking in shadow, sliding through long grass near the water hole, where plump deer pass.
Okay. Garima ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, wearing his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village.
Ashri ma'am.
But he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors.
Mukesh sir is left, I think.
He hears the last voice at night, the patrolling cars, and stays with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars.
Thank you, everyone. So there is a question for this. So all of you must have done this poem for your class, right?
Yes, ma'am.
No, not all of us.
Not
Some
all
of
of
us are not teaching in the class right now these days.
this poem, any time beforehand have you taught this? Okay. So all of you have understood the poem, right? Because the next question is based on the poem. Do you want to read it again? You can read it. Do you want a minute to read it? Shall I show the question?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So the question says the contrast indicated in the poem, actually, please consider it as poem, is between, what is the contrast that is shown in the poem basically? The tiger's reality and the tiger's ideal situation, the luxury of a zoo and the simplicity of a jungle, how the tiger feels and how the tiger should feel, how the deer walk in the zoo and how they walk in the jungle. So the options are saying these two have been contrasted. Now, if you see option A, and we also have the data on what percentage of the students chose each of the options. Okay. Now, if you see option A and option C, which is the correct answer? Any guesses?
Both are correct
Both
in
are
the context of the poem.
Yeah, because when we say feel, no, the word feel, it can mean anything like, no, how the tiger should be feeling. That is the, reality. That is the ideal, that is the reality, how the tiger feels, and how the tiger should feel is the ideal situation. You can see that the ideas are overlapping. Right? C is a more general statement. C is a more general statement. And A is very particular. So you can see the kids also have chosen, 43% of them have chosen C and 45% of them have chosen A. Clearly showing that there is some, kids are considering, half the kids are considering A as the correct option and half of them are considering C as the correct option. So you can see how the ideas are overlapping, options are overlapping. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, it is clear.
Okay. So now we'll go to the next session. Okay. So yesterday we
लेकिन जितना ये चाह रहे हैं हम तो उम्मीद करके रखते हैं वो यही है कि जैसे आपने कहा कि हर बार हमारी ऑडियंस अलग हो सकती है तो उसी हिसाब से ये हमें ओवरऑल ट्रेनिंग देना चाह रहे हैं कि ऑडियंस अगर बदलती जाए तो कंटेंट डेवलपिंग हमारा काम जो उन्होंने ऑडियंस में सिखाया हुआ है और उस कंटेंट को हम कब 2 दिन की ट्रेनिंग है कि 5 दिन की ट्रेनिंग है कैसे हैंडल कर पा रहे हैं कंटेंट डिलीवरी को वो शायद ये ट्रेन करना चाह रहे हैं
can we continue? Okay, so Amit sir, you all watched Amit sir, conducting the recap of the day. So we have done this question review exercise yesterday. how to discuss a
Good morning,
question.
sir.
So now we will go into facilitating a question review session. How will you facilitate a question review session?
Good morning, sir.
Okay, so I have put in all the questions you've sent, and I'm going to show the questions. Okay, so I can tell you like what all you need to discuss with your participants, okay, about a question, like what they should look for, what are the points you will want them to discover from the questions. So one is a set of irrelevant difficulties, in the sense what makes a question unnecessarily difficult. Okay, so in that point, like the question should be clear and concise. It should be reader friendly. It should have a reader friendly phrasing. It should be engaging but not distracting. It should have sufficient content enough to answer. There should not be bias, sensitivity issues, and taboos. And then the set of points
सर
which
पिछली बार
make,
मोहन राय सर ने कहा था कि ऑफलाइन ट्रेनिंग करा दे तो सेकंड वेव आ गई थी सर.
Madam, here something is happening, overlapping.
yeah. And then so one set of factors make the question unnecessarily difficult. Another set of factors make the question easy. That is when there are clues, there are absurd options, then there are standout options and things like that. So you want your participants to catch these points. Okay, so in the question review session. So now I am going to show the questions you've sent. I think there are 11 questions. What I want you to do is like probably Amit sir has done one session. So let's have Garima ma'am do the next session. Amit sir chose? Whom did Amit sir choose? Next one.
Garima ma'am.
Garima ma'am.
Garima
Garima
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, fine. I'm in line with that then. So I will the next three questions I want Garima ma'am to facilitate the question review session, and another three questions by another person, and another the remaining by another person. So I'm going to show the questions. Garima ma'am, I'm handing over the mic to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So now you are the facilitators. All the others are participants. So.
Fine, ma'am. So I would like all of you to read this question. Please read it out, and then we'll discuss about it. Now I would like to choose Amit sir. Hariram Joshi sir,
Okay.
could you please tell me what's wrong in this question? Can you find out?
Ma'am, when you're saying no, don't say what is wrong, because then they will only look for problems. Just say, can you, what are your inputs on this question? What are your thoughts on this question? Keep it gentle.
Okay.
Don't say what are the good things or bad things. Just say what are your what would you like to say about this question? If it comes to you, will you approve it? How will you ask them to change it? That kind of.
Fine, ma'am.
Yeah.
Joshi sir, can you give your input about this question?
तुम्हारी कंटेंट था आपके डायरी में मैंने जो नोट किया
Yes.
वो मिल गया था लेकिन वो पीपीटी पे वो नहीं लिखा है.
Thank you very much, Garima ma'am, for giving me opportunity to read this question. The question stem is fine, and the options given here are easy to understand. So I think I would give rate this question is good, and the correct answer is also standing out. So I would rate it 5.
Fine, sir. Sir, could you please tell me the reasons why you have rated 5 for this question? 5 means you are finding this
5
question.
means that I don't find from my point of view, I have not seen anything which is not up to the mark in this question. That is why I rated it 5.
Fine, sir. So would you like to assign someone, what about, what is others' views about this question? Would you like to assign someone who will
Of course,
express their views? Yes.
Rashri madam is requested now
Thank you, Joshi sir.
to.
Sir, I think it's a good application question, and I would also rate it 5.
Good. So yes, all of you are right. This question's aim is also good because it's giving clear idea which of the following sentences is paradoxical in sense.
C, answer C. It's already given there. Answer
Yeah.
is C.
Answer.
And the student will have to go through all the options and to read it thoroughly and understand them. Then only he will be able to figure out which one is paradoxical.
Fine.
In contrast.
And is it clear? So it means it is clear and concise, right? And
Yes.
is it reader friendly? I mean, if the students read this question, do you feel that they will find it difficult to
No,
understand?
no. It's reader friendly, I think. Uh, there are no issues. It's not. It has not been made difficult in any
Very
way.
nice. Thank you so much. Mukesh sir, do you think that this question is engaging and not distracting? I mean, how about the distractors? Are they engaging and not distracting? Okay.
I think I would rate this question 4 out of 5. Yeah. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. You are clearly audible.
Okay. I would rate this question 4 out of 5.
Mukesh sir, would you please tell why you have rated 4
Yeah.
but not 5?
I have asked about the distractor. I think option A and does not a good distractor for me, because if you have noticed that B, C, D, they are some sort of paradoxical, or you can say juxtaposition or oxymoron type of content. But in option A, we don't have such devices, so I would rate it 4. We can change option A a little bit.
So what should be the first option according to you, sir?
It may be like a man learns best and worst through experience.
What's your opinion, Rajki ma'am?
But then A and C, don't you think they will be same?
Yeah, if you say best and worst, then it will also become paradoxical, no?
Right.
Yeah.
So what probably so B is a so I will whoever is
Hello.
facilitating if you I will go to so just for this session you can ask only 2 people and then we'll go to the next question, then you can ask another 2 people.
Fine, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. So now another point you need to take care of is when you're asking them, like, are these good distractors? Like Amit sir is the one who said just now spoke. So who spoke just now? Mukesh sir or Amit sir?
Mukesh sir said, ma'am, that first one is about distractor. Mukesh sir said first one is not a good distractor.
Yes.
That's why he's waiting for to this question.
Yeah. So when you're testing, like very correctly, he said that B is when a student chooses B, we can clearly say, oh, the child is confused between oxymoron and paradox, right? So it gives an insight into what the error the child is making. And when the child is somebody is talking on the phone, is it? Okay. if somebody is choosing D, what will you report? What will you say about the child? What is it confusing with? True fiction, right? When you're saying true and fiction, again it is a oxymoron.
Right, ma'am.
Right. So, so now if a student chooses B or D, we can say that the child is confusing between oxymoron and paradox. Now, if you want to catch another another misconception or error, then you can change, as Sir said, A is not a great distractor because there is no juxtaposition. He used the correct word. There's no juxtaposition happening. So you can use like opposite meaning words or another set of words that will clearly say, okay, the child is confusing between this and something else. Okay, so when you're talking to the participants, tell them that the distractors should be valuable enough to give some kind of an insight into a student's mind. It's a diagnostic tool. Okay, so I'll go to the next question. Rima ma'am, you can do this question also.
Ma'am, do I only have to do this?
Pardon?
Bindu ma'am, do I have to deal with this question?
Yeah, I think everybody can do two questions, I think.
Okay, fine, ma'am. Okay, so Joshi sir, Amit sir, what do you say about this question? Which is the correct negative of the following?
Okay. I think we need to correct the stem a bit. Which is the correct negative of the following sentence? So something is okay. The following is good, but to make it more good, we need to say that okay of the following sentence. Okay. The other thing, actually, I would put a distractor like only with not. She did not her work homework. There must be a distractor like that because now we are testing. If we are testing the ability to identify whether do, does, or did work as a verb or as well as helping verb, auxiliary verb. So for that, from that point of view, we must put a distractor like that she did not her homework, so that we could come to know that okay, is the child is clear or not about that fact. Okay. So I would rate it 3 out of 5.
3. Okay, fine. And who are you assigning to read the question and rate this question next?
Okay, sir. Honorable Hariram sir.
Fine. So
I would request Hariram sir to.
So everybody is honorable here.
No, for me everybody is honorable, but it is my duty to put.
Even you are honorable for everybody.
Yes, you are being so generous. You are being so generous, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Actually, the options like does not, did, do not, did, as far as I am concerned, options should not be clear cut wrong. Actually, wrong options, they are standing out clearly that if one can say that B option and D option is not possible. So the students know that they should use not after did. They know clearly. So when they find did after not, so they will not choose B and D option. They will not try their power to check anything in these two options. I think so options should other options should be written in the at the place of B and D. I think so.
Can you suggest some?
And even a sentence A is also did not did is there.
So are you saying it's way too wrong?
Yes.
How would you have any alternatives, suggestions to do this?
As Amit sir has said,
Uh,
did not her homework or did not work from home. Like these we can use.
so when we are asking for the negative of a given sentence, we should not change the meaning of the sentence. We should only change
Sentence.
the grammar. So we cannot say work from home. Like homework should not be interpreted differently. Then you're testing both vocabulary and grammar.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Only grammar errors should be there.
But A, B, D
Huh.
options can be easily put away
Eliminated.
by the learners because did is used after not actually in these three options.
Okay.
I am unable to give any other option, but what I find दोष दृष्टि है जो हमारे अंदर वो that is telling that did after not is clear for them to find out the correct answer. She did not do her homework.
So if you have did and not, and suppose for A, if you remove the second did, so if the child thinks, if I no,
most of the students, we have valued so many copies so far. Every year this sentence come in the examination, and most of the students, about 80 to 90% students answers she did not her homework.
So that would be a good distractor.
Yes.
That would be a good distractor.
Because then you can actually, when you're reporting for that question, you can say the children are just adding the word not to make a negative sentence.
Yeah.
Okay. So that. One more small point is not a small point. When you are using terms, you have to use them consistently. In the STEM, the word homework is not hyphenated.
Yes.
Right. So actually, somebody can argue none of the options are correct. Right. They will be legally correct when they say that none of the options are correct. Correct. So you will not be able to defend your correct answer.
Okay, ma'am. I would like to actually request that the suggestion that I just mentioned, that there should be a sentence would be a good one. Which of the following correct negative of the following sentence?
Correct.
Is it good or the present question is good?
No. You have to say that because following means what? There are a lot of things that are following, right?
Yes.
So
Sentence would be there, no?
Yeah, we should say sentence. Yeah, that I already noted that. So when you are saying, so even in the first question, no, when you are saying, you have to, when you want to test paradox, no, it's always use that exact word and not modify the word as paradoxical and things like that. So you can say which of the following sentences uses a paradox. Okay. Instead of saying paradoxical in sense, when you're saying paradoxical in sense, it becomes like there is a little bit of a comprehension involved there. So instead of that, you can very plainly say in which of these sentences, has a paradox. Following sentences has a paradox, uses a paradox. Like that, in the second question also, you have to say sentence and say which of the following is the negative of the following sentence, or which of the following. It's always better to give the tested sentence on top of the question. Okay, so give the sentence and then say which of the following rewrites the above sentence in the negative. Okay, understood? So, consistency of terms, having good options. This good options is very critical for an MCQ. Otherwise, everybody can do subjective questions, right? The important thing about MCQ is to get proper insights about what exact error the child is making. So you should think like a child and put the error there. So if Joshi said, or I don't know who said, 82% of the kids answer like did not by just adding the word not. So that is a valid common error that student population is making. So that option should be there for diagnostic purposes. Okay.
So the problem is that actually this question is for the testing objective, like to differentiate between that did work as a helping verb or as well as verb. We are testing that particular thing. So for testing that, we need to put that alternative.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So all good points came out. Now we'll go to the next. Garima ma'am, whom do you want the next two questions to be moderated by?
Ma'am, I would like to assign Rajshri ma'am.
Sure. Rajshri ma'am, here is your first question.
Thank you, ma'am. I have to review this question.
No, not review. You are going to be the facilitator for the exercise.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. I would like to welcome all the participants in this review session. And I would like to, as we are discussing what are the characteristics of good MCQs and how should we review them, I would like to tag Mukesh sir to review this particular question and rate this question also.
Thank you, ma'am. The question says, fill in the blank choosing the correct alternatives. I met dash European at the market. Option A. Options are A and the and X. So I would rate this question 4 or 3. Okay, 3 or 4. Because the first thing that I noticed about this question is that the option D was read by me as X. So it should be changed to no articles.
Yeah, I think you're right. Do you find any? Do you think STEM is? Is there any STEM is okay, or is there any need to correct it?
Yes, I do. I think in STEM we can frame an interrogative sentence like which of these best completes the given sentence or like that.
Okay. And what is the correct alternative according to you? Is the answer given here is correct?
Yes, ma'am. It is very much there. Option A is the correct one.
One more thing, I am just going to interrupt all of you. Sorry. Options are in capital letters are given.
Yeah.
They should be in small letters.
They should be in small letters. And as we had already discussed that the statement should be above the STEM question.
Correct. Give the statement and then ask which of the following correctly completes the above sentence. And then you should also give the instruction if no article is required, mark.
Then choose option D.
Choose D. Yeah. Or you can just leave it as no article required in D. But is the correct answer correct?
No.
Again, answer is in a small letter.
No.
That is.
What is the correct answer for this?
Ma'am, I would like to interrupt.
Yes.
Okay. I think the statement which is given here to where we have to choose the correct alternative, I think we need to discuss it more. I met a blank European at the market. Can we modify it or can we do it in a better?
No, I didn't understand your question, ma'am. What are you asking?
I met European at the market. I think, is it correct sentence? Is the sentence correct? I want to know.
So for me, the correct answer, it should be, it would be either B or C, right?
B and A.
So why, if see, we don't have context to rule out C, no? If it was a
Option A is correct.
and so suppose a student chooses C. Somebody is talking.
मैनी कैसे को चेक करना चाह रहे हैं, इसलिए हमने इसमें नेगेटिव कनोटेशन यूज किया.
Would anybody like to add something to? I think Amit sir, do you want to add something
Yes, ma'am.
more to this question, or shall we move to some other again to different question?
I think the answer has been given in a different form. Okay, it is in a small letter. Even the spelling of answer is and is written over there, so it needs to be corrected over there also. A and D is given there, na? Instead of it, it should be A and S. Okay, so yes, actually, da can be correct when it is indicated. So it is not indicated, but we cannot be sure that da is wrong alternative. We can use da because the context is not there. Hare Ram sir, what do you think?
Actually, we cannot use the. The is used before the definite noun to express the definiteness of a noun. And a noun is definite when the speaker or the writer knows something,
The
but
context
the
should be there, na?
listener or reader don't know about that now. I
It
made
is not
when
clear, na?
somebody
Right now, it
is
is not
saying,
clear.
it is not clear, so the cannot be used in this sentence.
No, so because it's not clear.
Clear. So we can use or not. It is our liberty. It is student can say that he knows. Students can say na that they know.
Yeah. So
They can claim.
No. Listen to me. Listen to me, please. Actually, who the statement made by the person, he knows European, but those who are listening or reading this sentence, they don't know. So the noun is indefinite. That is why indefinite article should be used.
Okay, I know that. But if a child say that he is assuming that he knows the European and he has met him, what is the
actually
now answer?
So now it's an ambiguous thing, right?
Yes.
No, madam, it is clear. When we listen. I have read the difference between how to a student know the indefinite and definiteness of a noun.
Correct.
So there one statement is given by a grammarian. Grammarian that if listener and speaker both knows the noun, but which European? The speaker knows which European he has made, but the child does not know which European he has made.
No, I am not saying that your
that is why it is indefinite for listener.
Correct answer is A. A should be used, but I am saying that it can be argued. I am just saying that. I am not saying that that is correct answer. The correct answer is A, but it can be argued.
Can be argued and very clearly we can.
1 minute. Sir, I would request to listen to 1 minute only.
Move on.
The option A is correct. Option A is correct, but somebody can argue about the C option as well. When it comes about arguing,
Amit sir, can I explain this?
Yes.
Yeah. So what Amit sir is saying is, suppose this sentence, suppose this sentence was a following sentence of a preceding sentence. So suppose there was a context before that, right?
Yes.
in that case, like there is not here right now, we don't know whether the listener knows what the other guy is talking about or not. It's a little open-ended. Okay. Theoretically, what Joshi sir is saying is absolutely correct. That if it is a definite,
it is correct. It is absolutely correct. I
theoretically
agree.
it's correct. But in an open context like this, we would want to add a little more context to say that the cannot be used. So if you say, I went to the market, I met dash European there. Suppose in the market there is only one European. Suppose the speaker and the listener both know there is only one European in the market. Then the will also be correct. I went to the market, I met the European. So the can also be used for just one thing that is there. So we don't know here.
Actually, if there is only one European, then one in place of indefinite article, we can use only one if one is there only. The number of
So I'm saying there is no enough
Europeans is,
there is no enough context to rule out the.
Hello, can anyone listen me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Finally.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Hello,
We can hear you, sir.
Yes,
Can you
sir,
hear
you
us?
are audible.
me Pankaj Mishra speaking.
We can hear you, sir.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. I just shifted from my mobile phone to my daughter's tablet
Oh,
only for 10 minutes because at 12 sharp her online class will start. So I have to quit from this device. And all the things I want to say, there are some problems using this application. So why don't you switch over to another more efficient application like Zoom, Google Meet, or any other, whichever you may prefer? Because every time I have experienced lot of trouble, not only in Bhopal but in Gwalior and any other place also. So please reconsider it. As far as this question and previous question of mine, statement about paradoxical statement, that is concerned. So all I want to say is that in a multiple choice question, there is only and only one right question, and other three or four, howsoever it may be, are distractors. Distractors may be good or bad, but they are not correct or right answer. So there is not so much issue to discuss whether this is a right distractor or this is not a right distractor. Distractor is distractor. And even in topmost examinations, for example, Common Admission Test, CAT, and UPSC conducted examinations, for example, CDS, IAS, and auxiliaries, there are also multiple choice questions and they also put distractors. But it's all about the knowledge of the facts. Even in the KBC, whether the question is of 1 crore or 7 crore, if you know the fact, then it's your correct choice. And if you don't know the correct option, then every distractor will do good. So this is, I think, debate should not be on what is the distractor all about. Debate must be on what is the qualities of a question, whether it's reliable, it's valid, it's useful, or any other things which you are going to train us or have trained us about the questionnaire. So my only concern is that definitely distractors are good to be considered as a correct option, but that's not the only criteria of a question. Distractors are only distractors, and they can confuse. For example, as far as my question is concerned, a paradoxical statement. Do you think that I put only one example of paradox and all other three distractors must be in oxymoron. Can it be so? And will it work well? Please guide me.
Yeah. So what I meant there was when you so the importance of distractors, I need to stress that again, because the very format why we are choosing so if we are saying the correct answer is the only correct answer, and the child should know that it is a fact and it should be correct, then we don't need multiple choice questions, right? We can just you give them single, ask them to write the answer. Why would we want to do multiple choice questions? We can straight away ask them the question and ask them to write the answer, right? So why are we choosing the multiple choice question? Is because in a formative class where you want to find out what is the student thinking when the student is choosing a particular answer. Like if for this question, I met a European at the market, and if the child is choosing an B as the correct answer, we can tell that the child is, should know that the article is decided based on the pronunciation and not on the spelling. So now as a teacher, I will know, okay, the child doesn't know this. So I am going to probably do a remedial session for that. So now in that question of paradox and oxymoron, like actually a good question will be like, if you want the correct answer has an oxymoron and paradox, and one of the wrong answers as oxymoron, then you can say the child is confusing between oxymoron and paradox. The other two can be any other literary device where you can see that the child is confusing between this and this. A rhetorical or a simile and a paradox, a metaphor and a paradox. Actually, the distractor should be constructed in such a way that we can say something about the child's knowledge. So that is why a distractor should not be something like I can throw away easily. Or the correct answer should not be like, no, that I can get it easily. So the importance of distractors is because that it is a multiple choice question. If it was not a multiple choice question, then we don't have to worry about it.
No, I understand your point, but I want to say that distractors are good enough, and they are better enough if they confuse the reader to choose the right and correct option.
They should be plausible and.
It is not always going to happen. Sometimes.
That is true. That is true. Sometimes you will not get all three good distractors. That is also true, because
that's what I want to state. And for example, this question is concerned, these all distractors are very well constructed. Question is perfect in my opinion.
So what Amit sir was saying is there is a confusion because the context is so less. We don't know if there is only one European at the market. If it is common knowledge that there is only one European in my local market, I can always say I met the European at the market when I went.
That is not going to be decided when the correct option is chosen by a student, whether there is one European or many Europeans. In this context, what's written on the in the sentence? So there is no need to.
What Amit sir was saying is we don't know whether the speaker and the listener are at the same have the same knowledge about this European. So can we assume some other context before this sentence? Something else has been said before this sentence, and not this sentence as a standalone. If this sentence was a following sentence of something else, then the can be valid. So, it would be better that if we can modify the context little more, and the confusion is only between like an and a based on the pronunciation, and not based on the the situation that the can be correct. So we can modify the context a little better to rule out the completely.
But if you modify or we modify the sentence even more, then the option may switch to option C, the. If it is modified, if the word European is modified, then instead of N, the option C, definite article D will be suitable.
Suppose I say like I met an Indian, comma, dash European at the market.
So you mean to say there must be two fill-ins in the sentence?
No, two
fill-ins.
fillings. For the first one, I am saying I met an Indian, no blank, and dash.
That can be added, but that will help. That will help. But this question is also good. This question independently, this question is also good.
Question is, there is no doubt it is good. Question is good. What we are right now saying is make the context tight so that the doesn't get argued for.
Okay.
Okay. We'll move to the next question. Rashmi ma'am. Okay, I think we are running out of time. It's already 12 o'clock. Okay, probably if we have more time, we'll come back to the question session. Who will get a chance? Rashmi ma'am has done, Garima ma'am has done, Amit ji did. Mukesh sir, I think Pankaj sir, will you be available to do the review, or you will have to log out now, right?
No. I haven't logged out. What should I do?
No. So will you be? You said you can. You will stay here till 12 o'clock, right?
Because my daughter gave me
her class will start.
minutes.
Yeah. So then we do. It's already 12 o'clock. So I will ask Amit sir to lead the question review for this second question, and then we'll go to moderating another session. Amit sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Amit sir did. No, sorry, Mukesh sir, right? Who has not got a chance?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, sir, can you moderate this question review?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So, dear team, we are going to review some questions. So, I would like to ask on the given question. Rajeshri ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Mukesh sir. I think this time is missing question mark here. Which of the following alternatives best expresses the above sentence in direct speech? There should be question mark here. There should be a question mark here. I asked my friend that I could borrow your dictionary for one day. This is a good distractor, I think, because it is testing the concept whether the student knows how to change from direct speech to indirect speech when we are using a model in the sentence. So then I asked my friend that if I could borrow his dictionary for one day. But I think the student will focus more on second, third, and fourth options because the connector, if is used there, so he will go for it. I think he will decide between these three.
So would it be better that if one more option does not have if?
Yes, ma'am. I think it would be better if we have one more option without if.
So then they have to debate between two which have if and two which doesn't have if.
May I say something?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Actually, this is my question, and I still find so many problem in it. So I want to share those my experiences. Okay.
No, you don't have to review your question. Please don't review your
don't
question.
tell. I will tell you.
Okay.
I will tell.
Thank
now
you.
it is my turn to tell you something.
Thank you very much, sir.
Sorry to interrupt you guys. Well, I'm the facilitator.
Yeah, sure. So
Sure,
you
sir.
are the decider. Sorry, really very sorry.
Really sorry, sir. Really.
Speak anything unless I tell you. Okay. So
Okay.
I will.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Just for fun, I will give a chance to Garima ma'am to review this question. Garima ma'am, can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You're audible. Garima ma'am?
I think she cannot hear us. So I would give a chance to Hare Ram Joshi sir. So please, sir, go ahead.
After
Hariram sir,
G, then
Hariram sir.
H comes. Okay. After
I
G,
would
H comes. So,
okay. I would expect
so
mercy
I'm
on
just
me.
going to actually the following alternatives.
Yes.
So I think there is no need to use these. Unnecessarily, it is making the STEM question long. Which of these best expresses the above sentence in indirect speech, and question marks should be put up then? I have to say this only.
Sorry, sir. I was expecting much more. Please, there are many things to explain, and now I have realized it.
Okay,
Okay. Joshi sir.
Yes, I have said what I had to.
Okay. My next question to you is that do you find any
Yes.
flaw or some mistake in the options anywhere?
I asked my friend if I could borrow his dictionary for one day. If I can borrow his dictionary for one day, that if I am unable to find anything else.
Okay, it's fine. Okay, Garima ma'am, can you hear me? Garima ma'am, would you like to go next?
Is there an issue with her audio, or is she there only sitting next to you? Or is she in the same office, or?
Okay, fine. Then now I would like to nominate Hare Ram Joshi sir to facilitate the session.
Oh, are you done with this question?
Yes. Because
Okay.
Garima is not, you know.
Okay, so let me point out a couple of things.
May I, if I could, actually, I have come to realize some of the mistakes that I have made.
Please, sir, please.
So as Rajshri ma'am and Hariram sir has told me, and thank you very much to pointing out such things. Okay, I really appreciate Hariram sir's words that okay, the following alternatives is a excessive thing to use. One more thing that speech S should be in capital. Indirect speech, the S should be capital.
No. Actually, indirect speech, I should not be capital. So indirect and direct.
Okay, so means it is wrongly written over there. Whether I has to be correct or S has to be correct. I realize that it is written wrong.
Yeah,
okay.
It just has to be no caps.
Okay.
So,
now option actually when we put an indirect speech or direct speech, we test many a thing. We test connectors, we test tenses, we test pronouns. So I could have used some other option in the as for example the first alternative. It could have become a good distractor if I put his instead of your one thing. Okay, so it cannot be eliminated easily. Now it can be eliminated easily. The other thing, as you rightly said, that okay, if can be removed in one or more options. So I should have used better with some other tenses or with some other modal verbs.
Correct.
For example, whether I can borrow his book for one day. So it would confuse in if and whether, and as well as in tenses. So those are the corrections that I should have made.
You've self-diagnosed your question.
Nah, I felt that actually I am not making an excuse, but I was in a hurry, so I just put whatever option I thought at that point of time. But I am realizing, and next time I will just rectify these things.
Sure, sure. So, so one small thing I want to point out, when it comes to grammar, right, there can be only one correct answer, right? So let us not use the word best expresses. So we will just say which of these correctly rewrites always say rewrites the above sentence in indirect speech. Because we are asking them to rewrite the entire sentence. So not, so when there is only one correct answer, we did not say best. You can just say correctly. Okay, and as you said, like we could have used, elimination should not be easy. Like all the four options, when I ask my friend is common to all of them. So up to that, there cannot be no error. But then suddenly, if you see, all the other options start with that and only one starts with if.
So,
if the child picks that up, then the child doesn't have to check anything else. Your pronoun, nothing.
Yes, that is what I am saying.
That automatically, logically becomes the correct answer. Okay, fine. So now we are done with the question review session. Let me pause this thing. Okay. Let's see. Let me open the chat window. So I'm going to enter a question in the chat window. This is just an icebreaker. All of you can see the chat window, right? Can you all say hi to check whether you're able to type and enter? Give me a hi. Type a hi. Okay, Amit sir is done. Okay. Others? Garima ma'am, are you able to type a chat? What happened to Garima ma'am? Like, she's not there. Deepa, can you check on Garima ma'am? She having any problems?
Hey, she is here, but she's saying she can't type. She said it on the WhatsApp group.
Oh, okay. Yesterday also she was not able to type. Others? Mukesh sir, are you able to type? Joshi sir? Is it because they are on mobile?
Actually, I can type, but there is no option for me to send it actually. That option is not open for me.
Can you see an arrow below the type space?
Arrow is there, but that is fainted. Means it is not open for me.
Okay, okay.
Active, it is not active.
But you can see the chat window, no, everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to type a question. I want an answer for this. Okay, not an answer. I want you all to tell me the breakfast item you had. And so your mood for the day will be your first name. And your second name will be the name of the dish you had. Okay, so I'm going to tell what it is. Mine, I had idli. And no, so my mood will be the first name. So I'm excited. And my second name is the breakfast I had, idli. So I will be excited, idli. Can you see that?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So let's take. Let's see. Like what. So you'll make a name with your first name as your mood and your second name as the breakfast you had. Okay. I'm excited, idli. So let's see, Amit sir. What is your name? for the session?
अभी तो मतलब मेरा कर दीजिए.
We can't hear you. Frustrating Valley. Valley is a breakfast.
Actually, I did not take anything today.
Oh.
I am still hungry.
Oh, that's not a good state to be in. Mukesh sir, for devotional. Very nice. Others?
It has become frustrating because everybody is talking about the breakfast and beverages.
So why would you skip breakfast? That's the most important meal of the day.
There are some other reasons for that. That knows
I
that.
think, ma'am, he is fasting for 9 days. Yeah.
No.
Same as-
I do not
same
believe.
as
I do
me.
not believe in
Yeah.
fasting. There are
Okay.
some other reasons, and I think Rajshri ma'am knows those reasons.
Oh, okay. Joshi sir, what is yours? I will type it out.
Sweet banana.
Sweet banana. You're feeling sweet?
Yes.
People always feel as they are.
Okay. Mukesh sir? Mukesh sir, can you hear us, sir?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear, but I'm unable to type.
Tell me, sir, what it is. I will type.
Happy Khichdi.
Khichdi, very nice. Okay. Rajshri ma'am is done. Garima ma'am can't even hear us. Deepa, she can't hear us.
No, she's saying she can hear. She just can't speak or type, I think. The
Oh,
same issue that
Ma'am, I think
Mukesh sir was having.
but
I think we must request her to disconnect and reconnect again. That was the same case with Hariram sir yesterday. So the problem can be resolved. Just ask her to disconnect and then she will be able to reconnect and use all the facilities that we have.
yeah, because she was fine. She was able to talk and she was even able to use a video and all. So, can you just request her to do that?
Yeah, it could be a network issue. Maybe if it's low bandwidth, they don't allow all this. But ma'am, yeah, can you try this?
So she can hear us, right?
She can hear. Garma ma'am, can you drop out and then come back in? It might work. Basically, she came back in with like a lot of difficulty. Maybe she doesn't want to leave.
So,
It was not reconnecting for a long time.
Okay. 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 So now let's go into the session. Now I will share my video screen when it is required. So what are the sessions we actually now did? We did a recap of the day. And then we did a question rating exercise practice, discussion practice. Now, when you are designing your workshop, suppose you are given 3 hours, okay, for the workshop and 2 days. Let's see what are the sessions you can plan. Like all the workshops you've gone through till now, how were the sessions organized for question making? Can let's have a small discussion about how you will design the agenda, because that is very critical. So let's take turns and say, I will say like make an agenda for a 2-day workshop, 3 hours each. Okay, so that we know clearly how the flow happens, the content flow happens for the workshop. Okay, I'll start with somebody who's experienced in the workshop conduction. So I will request, I think 2 people, Rajshri ma'am and Joshi sir have conducted, right? Workshops, am I correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Anybody else? Amit ji and Mukesh ji, anybody has conducted workshops before?
Ma'am, I think Amit sir has also conducted workshops. He's MT for British Council. Yeah.
Okay, fine. So let's start with Rajshri, ma'am. Ma'am, if you are given this, like you are supposed to conduct a question making workshop for 40 teachers, or I don't know how many. Like let's keep a reasonable number of 20 teachers. A 6-hour workshop, 3 days, 2 days each, three hours. How will you design your agenda for the workshop?
Thank you, ma'am. First, I would like to know their prior knowledge through a pre-test or diagnostic test. That will definitely motivate my participants, and they will be engaged and interested in whatever I am going to do next. Then I will have a discussion on the questions, one or two important questions given in the diagnostic test, so that I may know their problems or their answers to them. Then after the discussion, we will come to the content, how to make good questions, what are the characteristics of good questions, like that. And then even I can ask them to make some questions, or I can give them examples or show them on screen. We can have discussion on some questions in the class, whether the question is good or not, that kind of thing. Discussion and then content and again discussion.
नहीं लेगा सर वो जीमेल से नहीं खुलता आप तो गेस्ट के रूप में ज्वाइन होंगे माइक्रोसॉफ्ट की आईडी होना चाहिए हेलो
Ma'am, that would be all from my end.
Oh, okay. So on the first day, you are saying that you will, check the pre-test and have some questions around the, expectations and what are the challenges they face. And, you will go into what are the good characteristics of good question. And then you will have a discussion on the questions, on some questions. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Let's hear from Amit ji. You also, how will you plan your agenda for a question making session?
Ma'am, wait a minute. I'm just with sir. So he's just having some problem with Microsoft Teams. So give me a minute or two.
Sure. How about Joshi sir?
Well, actually, facilitator, working as a facilitator in some workshops. First of all, if number of participants are 20 or about 20, then after giving my own brief intro, we'll try to have some very brief intro from each. And then actually before it, then I will provide them the pre-test. And after the pre-test, the main agenda of the workshop, that is framing good questions, making multiple choice questions. We will have discussions on some already selected questions. We will discuss whether it is appropriate from grade point of view, age point of view, or from grammatical or point of view. After this discussion, give them chance to prepare some questions on some topics, simple topics from grammar, or simple 2 or 3 lines of passage, taking them. And we will discuss them. After that, we will discuss how they think, taking the participation from the participants, that how do you think this question is good, or it needs some improvement. Their views I will have.
Okay.
That is all which
Okay.
I am going to do with my workshop.
Okay, so you will take questions, discuss them, and then discuss how to fix it, right? What are the broad theories you would like them to know about? Like, what have you all learned in the sessions? That broad theories, what you would like to them to know. Like, so when you're creating the agenda, you cannot say, okay, discussion on questions, the characteristics of good questions, like that, right? Like, there should be some broad themes, no? So let's get into that and see what all we can definitely needs to be covered. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Sorry, we didn't have time to discuss all these questions. Okay, so first of all, when you do the question review, right, when you are doing the question review session with them, you should make them understand why a question review is important. Okay, so when you are reviewing other people's question, when you will also be like how I am reviewing your questions now, you will also be reviewing their questions, right, for as like the task for the week or something like that. You will be monitoring their progress. So when you are reviewing the questions, when you're coming to my role, what are the things, what are the qualities a reviewer should have, right? This you don't have, this is for your information, not for your participants' information. When you are reviewing a question, you have to analyze it very critically in a very objective manner. Even if somebody is an expert in a particular in English, you should not assume, oh, he's an expert in English, so he's unlikely to make mistakes. That assumptions should not be there, and you should objectively, without any preconceptions about the person, review the question. So you should be objective. You should be tolerant in the sense, like, any discussion on any arguments and stuff like that, need to appreciate different points of view and resolve anything that comes in a very effective and smooth manner. And when you are reviewing a question and when you are not satisfied with the question, we cannot simply say, oh, this question, it doesn't look good, or the option A is not, not strong. We should be exact and accurate and tell them what exactly is the problem with this thing. Like how Garima ma'am asked me, like, what do you mean by overlapping? Couple of questions you told that my options are overlapping. What do you mean by that? So if something is not clear, the reviewer should elaborate on that and be very precise about it. And also, you should be a responsible person in the sense, if that person is struggling, give them suggestions or alternatives what they could use in the place of how to fix the question. And be knowledgeable in the sense, like, when we are objective, when we are reviewing other person's question, we are not assuming, okay, these are all teachers who've taught English for so many years, so it's not possible that they will make an error. In the same way, don't assume that our own knowledge is good enough to this thing. When in doubt, always double check. Okay. So these are the qualities of a reviewer that you should have when you are reviewing your participants' questions. Now, so another thing, what you would in the process of question creation, so you're going to tell them, so telling them that these are the things you should, these are the good characteristics of a question. These are the things you should take care of when you're making a question. That is like, no, there should not be overlapping option. There should not be, absurd options, all those things. But there is also this thing of, how to make a good question. How do you go about making a question? How will you help them there? See, running a list of do's and don'ts is easy. But how are you going to guide them into making multiple choice questions or any question? What are the processes involved? So suppose I give you a reading passage, right? And ask you to make questions, which we have done for the past few weeks. We've been creating questions for passages. How did you go about creating the questions you need?
Ma'am, shall I speak?
Yes, ma'am. Please don't wait for me to call anybody. Please.
Okay, ma'am. We used to follow different process earlier, but after going through your sessions, we started to follow your instructions as far as possible. I think we all considered the qualities of good question, what a question should be like, and we also focused more on our options. What kind of options?
Now you have become inaudible.
Again?
No, you can hear it. Now we can hear you.
Okay. As I was saying, we are now we are following whatever you have taught us in this session, whatever you have facilitated to us, the content we are following, and we are trying to put all the good qualities or good characteristics of question, and whatever we have learned in the sessions, we are just trying to put them in our questions, and even in making our options, when we are creating options, our focus is on distractors and which option would be a good one, that kind of thing. We are still learning, I think.
Yeah, that's a learning. Even after so many years, even I am learning. So that is a given default state of affairs. So when we are saying that no, a good question should have these characteristics, should not have these things, all that is fine. But when you are telling them, see, if I'm given a passage, right, and if the passage has like 20 sentences, I can create if you ask me to create a question, I can create a question on each sentence in the passage. Okay, but that is not reading comprehension. When we are talking about reading comprehension, we are talking about not reading. We are talking about the comprehension of the information in those 20 sentences. So it should not be like, no, every sentence, like I can turn it into a question and answer kind of a thing. It's not like that. So what are the ideas that you should have in mind? Like when you are given a passage, how do you choose that I am going to choose, make a question on a particular thing? Okay, what are the stages of thinking about question making? Okay. So what are the things that a teacher will decide on? Okay, now I am making a test. What question format to use? Should I use a multiple choice question? So what you need to ask your participants is, how do you decide when you use your multiple choice question and when you use an open response question? So these are the things they should think about, and you should make them think about it. Are you using a multiple choice question for a particular purpose? Do you want to know what error the student is making? Do you want to know how many students in your class are choosing a particular option? So for those things, MCQs will be a good this thing. So what question format will you use? And what are the advantages and disadvantages of each format? So suppose one of the participants asks you, why multiple choice question? What is the big deal about it? Why can't we just go with subjective open response questions? We've been doing this for years. We've been scoring, short answer questions for years. Will you be able to answer what are the advantages and disadvantages of each type of question? So when you are in the next two sessions, when you are presenting, all these should come up, like which question format to use, what are the advantages and disadvantages of each format, what is the item anatomy of a free response and an MCQ. Will you with confidence be able to explain to them these ideas? How to identify good testing ideas? So in some of my reviews, I would have said this is not a great point to test. When it comes to reading comprehension, we should test something more valuable than something minor detail. So how do you identify these good testing ideas? And what are cognitive levels? So all the questions cannot be at recall level, factual based questions. Okay? So these are the main points you should be able to explain to them, because telling them do's and don'ts is fine. That is one aspect of it. Good and bad characteristics is fine. But if a person is actually going to sit and make questions, they need help with all these things. So how will you go about telling them these things?
Ma'am, may I? Now I'm free actually. Sorry for the delay. Actually, Deputy Director sir was here and he was having some problem with TeamChat.
Okay.
So I would like to share my experience with British Council as a facilitator. So
yes,
if I am allowed.
Yes, of course you are allowed, sir. We are all grown ups here.
Actually, as Hariram sir said, that being a facilitator is a hard job to do. I completely agree, but it requires a lot of dedication and forehand practice actually. You have to be prepared forehand. For example, as Rasi ma'am said, that we have to plan a very good pre-test so that their motivation should be there. And when it's about after pre-test, we should elicit the information that they have about the workshop that we are going to conduct. Now, whatever assignment or whatever workshop we are designing, just learn from the perspective of being a learner. If you had been a learner, then what question you would have put before your facilitator? So just prepare those questions that your learner might ask you those questions. Only then will we able to get good questions or their answer as well. Otherwise you would not be able to answer, or I would not say answer, but to remove their queries or doubts. So for that, you have to think being a learner. So when you are planning such things, so just think from the point of view of a learner, not as a facilitator. So you will come to understand the problem that you might face when you are going to facilitate some people.
Okay.
So you're at the same time, all those questions and their possible answers and their counter questions should be prepared forehand with you. That is the preparation that you should go with that in that workshop. And one more thing I want to add, and you must be aware of the workshop outcomes. Okay, if these outcomes are not defined to you, you are tend to deviate from the path that are supposed to go on. Thank you very much. These are the things that I wanted to add.
Sure. So we were talking about what are the broad areas that you should prepare for. Like, one part is telling them what are the good characteristics of a question, and what is a checklist you should keep to see that it is free of errors. But when somebody is actually preparing a question, going to prepare a question, what are the other broad things they should know about, right? Which kind of question format to use? What are the disadvantages and advantages of each format? What is item anatomy? These are called like being assessment literate. Like you know enough about question making that you can tell, okay, when you're reviewing, you can tell your stem needs to be fixed. So the other person should know what a stem means, what a distractor means, right? And how do you identify good testing ideas? If you are given a passage and if you're asked to make questions, how will you identify good reading comprehension ideas to test? And what are cognitive levels? You cannot create all questions at recall level or understanding level. You should have varied cognitive level questions. So these are the things you should very particular about question making itself. So how will you go about it? What is the agenda, broad agenda you will create when you do that? So let's look at some of the things. Okay, now let's look at question format. I would like one of you to facilitate the first question. How will you go about? Okay, and one more thing is, how will you estimate the difficulty level of a question? What are the things that will, what factors will affect the difficulty level of a question? That also they should know. Right? So now let's take the first question. What question format to use? Okay, so the question format to use, like they should know that there are different types of formats that are available. Garima ma'am, can you talk, or you still have a problem? Garima ma'am? Okay, I think she still has an issue with. I think Pankaj sir also has an issue. Pankaj sir? I think, yeah. So, okay, then that leaves us. Then that leaves us with only 4 people, I think. Joshi sir, Amit Kumar sir, Mukesh sir, and Rajshri ma'am. Rajshri ma'am, would you like to take up this? Like, how will you facilitate a session where you tell them what are the types of questions available and what are the advantages and disadvantages? Will you be able to explain?
Yes, ma'am. We will. I would like to ask them about MCQ question first. What are the different types of MCQ questions?
Before you go to types of questions, you should even be different types of MCQ questions even before.
No. Sorry. I will ask them about the types of question and I will get the answers. Then I will focus on one type of question. That would be MCQ. Then I will ask them about how many types of MCQs do you know about. Then they will tell me true, false, or matchmaking, or fill in the blanks. Then we will discuss the advantages and disadvantages of those questions. And then we will come to the MCQs with 4 options. And then we will discuss about it.
Okay. So when you're discussing the questions, you will go type each type of question. First, you will say, okay, true, false question. What are the advantages of a true, false question? Can any of you say?
Madam, the answer is only yes or no. But this testing objective, we have only 2 answers, true or false. We are not testing anything here.
No. What are the advantages?
Advantages for learner, ma'am. He's getting marks for and easy to score. Yeah.
And it saves consuming.
We can easily assess the.
So Garima
We
ma'am,
can through the advantages of true false questions is that we can easily assess the learner's responses.
It's like quick, like if you want a flash test on concepts, like after you teach us something, like you want a flash test, yes or no is good. Okay, fine, true or false.
They lessen the reading load.
Okay. Any other advantages for everybody, like the test taker, test maker, for the person who is evaluating the test?
Madam, it takes less space and less effort for a teacher to just to frame one sentence.
Very good.
Either it would be right or it would be wrong. So it saves time. It saves space also, as MCQ takes more space to write 4 options, whereas here in true false only one sentence is there.
Correct. Yeah. So the two main advantages is that it is very easy to frame, and another main advantage is scoring is easy and objective. So there is no role of interpreting or subjectively marking the answer. So these things you should be very, very thorough with. The advantages of a true false question. What are their disadvantages? Anybody?
Ma'am, choices are limited. I mean, either student will write yes or no. There are very less chances of checking whether the student's information is correct or not. He can guess the answer, and in that way, it can be either it would be true or it would be false. So,
okay, correct. Yeah, right. So it encourages.
Out of 20.
Yes, sir.
Out of 20, if they just put true for each question, then certainly they will have 33 marks.
Correct. So that is students have a 50% chance of getting right just by chance. Very correct. And as Garima ma'am said, we cannot, we don't know what is going on in their mind, whether they have really understood something, or yes or no answer does not give any insights into what kind of mistakes they could make. Suppose they are.
We cannot check their misconceptions.
Correct. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, we are on the right track. We should we should make this vocabulary part of our professional conversation. So then the more you converse with your participants in that manner, the more confident they will become. Okay, so this is true or false. Garima ma'am, you can hear us, no?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear.
Yeah. So we had a ice-breaking session where everybody gave themselves a new name with the feeling for their day, their feeling for their day, followed by the breakfast they ate. Like, for example, Rajeshri ma'am was feeling devotional and she had milk for breakfast. So she named herself Devotional Milk. And Joshi sir named himself Sweet Banana. And somebody named Khichdi. What Khichdi? I forget.
Happy Khichdi.
Happy Khichdi.
For Mukesh sir.
Mukesh sir. Yeah.
Disturbed gram.
Disturbed?
Ma'am, actually today I was facing a lot of disturbance of this net connectivity. Because of that, for say 1 hour I could not speak. I tried to speak, I unmuted my mic, but still I was not able to speak. So I should mention disturbed. Just because of all these things, I was disturbed and irritated. So disturbed gram chart.
Gram chart? What
Today I took that Kala Chana chart, ma'am.
Okay. Disturbed gram chart. Okay. Right.
I am just getting more frustrated.
I'm so sorry. I will end the session 5 minutes, 10 minutes earlier for you.
No, not an issue, ma'am. I'm habitual of it. Don't worry.
Oh, okay.
I can be hungry for even the 3 or 4 days, and I have done. Whenever I used to be angry. I just used to be just leaving those things for 3 or 4 days.
Ah, it is a real superhuman skill you have.
No, not super. It was actually because when I used to be actually angry, so I just do that.
Oh, wow.
So when you are angry, so you try to become hungry, no?
Yes,
Okay.
I become angry. Somebody close to me, if somebody, I am angry because of somebody close to me, I just do that. So, Hariram sir, I'm just requesting that do not make me angry, please.
Okay. 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 So true and false. So in your session on types of questions, you will show them the question and you will discuss the advantages and disadvantages. So true or false. Let's look at the next one, matching type of question. So this one also has the same problems and advantages of the true or false question. It is easy to write, it's easy to score, and as Garima ma'am said, like space saving, it is objective because there is no subjective scoring, and you can assess like some things in a compact manner in a set, like this thing. And matching questions can also be used with pictures, maps. You can get creative with that. But what are the disadvantages? Why would you not prefer to use matching questions?
Madam, I think same supports guessing. Because if a student knows only out of 4 matching objects, if the student knows 3, then fourth one automatically will get correct. So
correct, yeah.
It supports.
So it has to be, it is a challenge to design it very well without any interpretation, judgment or application. Sorry, it doesn't, if designed poorly, like we cannot make higher level HOTS kind of questions on that. Mostly it will check recall and memorization, and the number of choices you give on 2 sides should be uneven, so that if there should be more choices on the right side than on the left side, so that like what Garima ma'am said, no, if they get 3, they should not automatically get the 4th one correct. There. Short answer questions. What are the advantages of a short answer question?
When a student gets chance to express himself first, and in short, the answer can be given. These may be the advantages.
Yeah, so it gives
Good
freedom. Others?
Good to use to know the factual information that a student has. Factual to check the factual application level of the student. So that's good for checking that.
Correct. What are the okay? Let's see. Advantages is it's quite easy to write, easier than a multiple choice question, right? And multiple choice question, there is a element of guessing, so it reduces the possibility of guessing here, and you can test higher order skills, application and all those things, and you can actually, while reading the answer, you can see how the child is thinking, what are the mistakes the child is making. What are the disadvantages? Why would you not prefer to use short response?
A student doesn't get enough chance to express himself, like doesn't check the writing capacity, writing skill properly.
Are you saying that it might end up checking writing skills? Like it will favor writing people who have better writing skills?
No. She's saying that it doesn't check the writing skills properly.
You mean to say an essay or a longer answer would be better for that?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. What are the other disadvantages? What will you put in your slide when you're showing types of questions and advantages and disadvantages? If you're making a PPT for this, what will you put in your slide for disadvantages?
It doesn't necessarily check the understanding level.
You can check higher order, no? Like you can check application and interpretation and all.
Not necessarily. I'm saying not necessarily.
No, but it
But
allows, the format allows the
yes,
test, right?
yes, format allows that.
Format allows the testing, so it's not a disadvantage. You will all be preparing presentations from next workshop, so you should have enough things on your slide. So what are the disadvantages? Okay, let's see. If it can end up, it can unfairly favor students who have better writing skills, and it increases the chances of bluffing by students. Like even if the child doesn't know the answer, the child will say, "Let me write something, like at least ma'am will give me half a mark." Right? So there is an increased chance of bluffing by students, and the scoring is subjective. Subjective in the sense, like if Garima ma'am, if I give you a short answer to score, if I give it to Garima ma'am and Amit Kumar ji, will they give the same score? Is it possible?
Maybe or may not be.
May not be. We don't know, right? So it's subjective. And also it is inefficient scoring in the sense, like somebody manually has to go through the answer and score it, and you need a subject matter expert to score it. We cannot ask a science teacher to score an English essay. So you need subject matter expert. Whereas in a multiple choice question and answer, if you give the key, anybody can score, even a machine can score. So it is like you can scale the possibility, like subjective questions, if you have to score, like you need so many evaluators. But in a multiple choice question, you can have millions of kids writing the test and any machine can score it. And so when it comes to efficiency in scoring, this is a disadvantage. Okay, short answer. So now if you are going to discuss essay questions, what are the advantages of an essay question? What will you show in your slide? Think from a presenter, facilitator point of view. That you will be like telling them what are the advantages of essay. No,
enough chance to check writing skill of a student.
Yeah, you can check writing, like it allows you can check their flow of ideas, the organization of ideas, how creative they are. So it promotes reflection and actually shows what students think. And it can also tell us what background knowledge the student has, what problem solving skills the child has. And in an essay, whether they are able to organize their idea, whether they are able to analyze a topic and evaluate ideas. This also reveals misconceptions. And an essay question is easier to construct than multiple choice question. Right? What are the disadvantages?
Subjective scoring and inefficient.
Very nice. For the student, it takes longer to answer, takes a lot of time to evaluate, subjective scoring, and takes away the scope of covering more content. So if the time in which a student is writing an essay, we could have covered more subjects if we had used multiple choice questions. And if the question is misread, so if an essay has like 15 marks, and if the child has misread the question and answers, the penalty is very high. The child will lose all the 15 marks for that. So these are the disadvantages.
Yes. Actually, this happened in the quarterly first term examination. Actually, the students were asked to write down a notice, an advertisement. And it was mentioned there that your father has been transferred to another city. So he did not read anything else following, and he started write down to the principal for school leaving certificate.
Oh.
It happened with 2 or 3 students of my school. They just read father transferred to another city, so they thought that we should write an application to the principal for school leaving certificate or transfer certificate.
It's a very nice.
Same happened with me also. Most of the students, they just read that father has transferred to another city and they started writing the application.
What was the question about?
It was to
The
frame an
question was,
advertisement to sell certain household goods as your father has transferred to another city.
Oh,
So instead of advertisement, they just wrote the application.
oh my God, so sad.
One more thing that was happened in quarterly exam in class 10. There was a picture to describe in which to the preventive measures. They have to write down the preventive measures from COVID-19 basis on that picture. What many of the students did, they just made the picture and just put right mark or the cross mark over the pictures. Nothing else. They did not write anything.
Oh, that is very sad. Yeah. So, yeah, that's one, disadvantage for the students, that if they don't read the question properly or if they misread the question, then the penalty is very high. So you can see these examples which you are telling, no, are very nice and interesting, and and actually this is something the teachers can relate to. So you should incorporate these examples when you're bringing out these points. Okay. So essay type questions. Now coming to multiple choice questions, what are the advantages? So it can be, we have gone through this many times, so I'm just going to this thing. You can capture misconceptions and common student errors. And, you should also tell them that, it's we have a the teachers have a misconception that MCQs cannot test higher order thinking. So you should tell them you should show with good examples how MCQs can test higher order thinking. So you should prepare a session on, proving to them with good question examples that, MCQs can do that. Okay. And it can provide a better coverage of content than essay type questions. So the scope of the test increases. The number of concepts you can test in multiple choice in a given period of time increases versus when you use open response questions and essay questions. The biggest advantage is you can analyze the performance of the students at very in depth. Like if I give 10 questions to my students in a class and check how many students are choosing A, how many students are choosing B, based on the pattern of thinking of the students, I can actually design a remedial. If I say, okay, like the first question I should, okay, that is like overlapping options. But if you know that most of the students are choosing a particular option, then you know, oh, my class has not understood this concept well. I need to reteach it. Most of them have answered wrong. So this is the first thing I have to fix. So it helps in designing your remedials, prioritizing your remedials. So the performance analysis data is very, very, very useful. And this is the biggest reason that, many of the standardized tests use this MCQ format. Because at a national level, you can say most of the kids in the, like if you have seen Pratham report and all, they say like, 60% of the kids don't know at grade 5 or at grade 2 reading level. How are they able to make these, statements, these generalizations? It is based on data. So this is why our questions should be also free of errors, because the more errors you load into the question, the data becomes very weak. Okay. So what are the disadvantages? So like how we said, writing question will unfairly advantage good writers. There's a chance that poor readers may not understand what the question is asking for. So it will unfairly advantage good readers. And it is really challenging and time consuming to write good MCQs. You all must have experienced it. What is that fourth option I can put? What is a good distractor I can put? What are the common errors students make that I can make a option on? And there is this factor of guessing in MCQs. It also kind of, because it's not like, it's more like a receptive knowledge. They are given the options and then they have to choose, kind of restricts their creativity in answering. Okay, so if you have a session on what are the types of questions and disadvantages and advantages, you should be able to bring out all these things. So your agenda will look something like, okay, I am going to do the pre-test, and then let me check, what are their challenges, and let me do some diagnostic as to how much knowledge do they have about MCQs. Then you will go to, okay, let's do a hands-on practice of question rating. So you make them do the question rating and then discuss the question rating. Then you will go on, okay, now going to the theory part, what are the different types of questions? What are the advantages and disadvantages? That will be another session. Then based on the types of questions and you've discussed, how will you choose what type of question to use? And it depends on the purpose, what you want, what is the purpose of your test. So if it is a formative classroom assessment, you would want to do like a written test of a mixed of multiple choice and short response, etc. So the purpose of do you want to capture wrong notions students have, or do you want to promote reflection and make students think on their own? In that sense, written paragraphs might be better. And are you like capturing responses of a large scale of students? In that case, MCQ will be better. Do you want to make scoring faster and easier? MCQ will be better. Do you want to do a quick survey of what people think? Yes or no will be better. So bring in these kind of examples and tell them that depending on the purpose, your type of questions you choose will be this thing. Now then you will, because you've discussed the type of questions and because you've made them understand the particular advantages of an MCQ question, then you will go into MCQ question and say, like, now you'll have to tell them what is an item anatomy, how does a question, a MCQ question look like? What are the particular terms given for the different components of an MCQ? So also one thing you have to remember is the question is referred to as an item because it is an item in a test. Okay, so in the assessment industry, questions are called items. So and they say item writing. So if this is the multiple choice question, this is the instruction. Okay, look at the picture below, or read the sentence below. Then this is the stimulus. This will be your tested sentence or passage or any graph or any picture or anything. And this will be the step. And the entire thing is called the question. This is the question part of the item. Now, if you go to the responses part, then you have option key. Option key is the ABCD, the keys you have. And the correct option is called the key, the keyed response. The correct response is called the key, and the other wrong options are called wrong keys. And we have options. In the options, one is the correct answer, the others are called distractors. We also call them as foils. We also call them as inferior options, inferior alternatives. There are different terms used. And for every option, every wrong option, you have a kind of a rationale saying why the students would have chosen this. So that's called the distractor rationale. Of course, we don't write rationals, but every the serious assessment industry people insist on a rational so that some wrong absurd option is not put in there. So and then the correct answer is called and then the one that explains the correct answer is called the correct answer explanation. Okay, so this is the anatomy of a multiple choice item. Now there are two types of multiple choice items. One is a simple MCQ with one single response, that is MCSR. And then there is a complex MCQ, which is multiple responses, where you give a set of not options, responses, and you ask them to choose a combination or kind of response. This is a complex MCQ. So you go to different types of questions, then you come to MCQ, the different types of the anatomy of an MCQ, and the different types of MCQs. And when you remember the this multiple response, the complex MCQs should not be used for lower classes like 5 and below. Anyway, we are not dealing with that. So it's okay. And what is a constructed response? It's an open response question. Here also you have the stimulus, and then the actual question is called the prompt, and then you give directions as to what you expect in the answer. So the prompt will prompt is the passage or the extract you're giving, and then directions tell what is expected from the response to get a full score. Garima ma'am, you asked for the anatomy, right, yesterday?
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to know about that.
Yeah, yeah. And then the CRQ also has a rubric scoring guide. Scoring guide usually in at least in EI we in our this thing we insist that give an exemplar. What is a typical exemplar you would like to see in a free response question? Now how did the flow happen?
Excuse me, ma'am. I have a query.
Yes,
ma'am. Is there any ideal rubric for like essay or for 5 marks answer, say long answer questions? Is there any ideal rubric, or it can be changed?
It depends on. So if you are as a number of marks increase, right, then the number of things you want to evaluate will be different. So suppose it's a 1 mark question, like who said this to whom? Okay. Who said this thing? Then there is it's just a 1 mark and you are just doing it. Suppose it's a 2 mark question. Suppose you are saying, why did this character say that, and support your answer with details. Now you will in that there is only 2 marks, so you cannot divide that mark too much. So you say, okay, 1 mark for the first part and 1 mark for the second part. Why? The what is correct and why is also correct. So you divide the 2 marks. Now when it goes to 3 marks, then you need to evaluate something more, because it's a 3 mark question. It's becoming high stakes now. So now you will want to check, okay, you can check whether the content is correct. Then you can check the flow of ideas, that whether the flow of ideas and the organization of ideas is good. So you can give 1 mark for that. So you can give 1 mark for what, 1 mark for why, and then 1 mark for that the ideas are neatly following logically. Now, if you go to a 4 mark question, you might want to add 1 more criteria to this thing. You will say, okay, now I'll even check vocabulary. So it depends, ma'am, like the number of, depending on the score you allot, you can have different criteria. Is that clear, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
And depending on what you want to give more weightage for, you can divide that score accordingly. So suppose you have a 5 mark question and you say, I will give two marks. I'm allotting 2 marks for the content, 2 marks for the organization and the flow of ideas, and 1 mark for any grammar or punctuation errors. You can do that also, depending on what weightage you want to give. Okay, so now how did the flow happen? Like we said, okay, your workshop will begin with a pre-test, then you will diagnose the expectations and stuff like that. Then you will have a question rating exercise. You will discuss why they rated a question like that. And then you'll introduce them to different types of questions and the advantages and disadvantages and how to choose. Then another key thing that will come now is, how do you choose a question that is worthy enough to test? Right? How do I decide on the testing ideas? How will you teach them? What will you use? Do you remember the UBD session we had? Understanding by design. Anybody? Do you all remember the understanding by design workshop? Can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is where you need to talk to them about understanding my design and say this is, you need to separate what you test into 3 different buckets. One is enduring understanding. That is the concepts, that is, very important for a particular topic and that they will remember it even after the schooling is over. That is to make them a lifelong learner. That's the big ideas for the topic. And important to know and do is, the skills and abilities and knowledge that should be captured. And then worth being familiar with is like nice to know stuff which they can research on their own. So you should tell them that you should concentrate on important to know or do. So suppose they have come up with an idea, they should immediately check, is this very important for the child to know for that grade? So you should be able to talk to them about the UBD framework. I know that you will not be asked to do a workshop on UBD, but you should be able to tell them how to integrate UBD in their question making thing. And then you'll have to talk to them about cognitive levels, you should tell them that all the questions should not be recall or all the questions should not be application. You should have, a good balance between all these cognitive levels. That's one thing, right? So, so the big broad areas going back, and then one more thing is about the difficulty level of a question. How do you judge a difficulty level of a question? So that will depend on the format. And if the concept is at grade level or 1 grade lower or 2 grades lower, how much prior knowledge you require, and what is the cognitive skill that is demanded, and also like how easy are the options to eliminate. So these are all things that will affect the difficulty level of a question. So when you design a workshop, first question I asked you, how will you design your agenda? How will you design your agenda? So the broad areas you will need to touch upon is like, what format to use, what are the advantages and disadvantages, and then the item anatomy, then good testing, UBD, how to test this thing, how to, judge the cognitive levels using Bloom's taxonomy, and how to estimate the difficulty. So your agenda more or less should have these components for a 2-day workshop. And then, and the second day you will spend more time on the characteristics and more review of questions and things like that. Any questions? Any questions so far?
Ma'am, I would like to have your suggestion.
Yes, ma'am.
As we will be having physical training, I think, not virtual or online. with real groups of teachers, or teachers maybe 30 to 40 in numbers. Then how will we conduct this pre-test, and how will we quickly gain the results? Whether how will we assess them? What is their prior knowledge, or how they are responding in those questions?
Is it, will you be able to email the pre-test to them and get them to answer before the session?
No, ma'am, that won't be possible, because the participants they give their all the information when they arrive on the venue.
Oh,
not,
okay.
not before that. Yeah.
Okay, then that will be difficult. No, it will take time for filling.
We
and
can have some activities in groups, ma'am, for that.
activities for what, ma'am?
For ice breaking, or instead of pre-test, can we have some activities?
Yes, you can have, ma'am. You can definitely have some ice-breaking activities. So pre-test is to just to get to know where they stand, and how do they consider themselves? Are they experts and things like that?
Ma'am, actually, it's not possible to check all the answers in 2 days workshop. If your participant number is 40, that's the problem. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that you cannot do it there right away there. So instead of asking them to make like 5 questions, you can ask them to make 2 good questions, like and present it, so that everybody gets a chance, like to.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Any other questions? Because from
excuse me, ma'am. Are we facilitators going to give training to the teachers at the district level?
I think so. Yeah.
Then number of teachers might be more than 100. Then how can we?
How will you
cooperate?
facilitate? It's not possible, no, to have 100 participants. It's not possible. Unless it's even online, it's very difficult to have 100 participants. I think they will have them as batches, 30 each probably.
Okay.
That's what I am thinking, like a reasonable. Otherwise, it will be.
Ma'am, will we have to conduct the pre-test, manually? Or we'll have to send through Google Forms as the standard. If suppose we'll not be able to send the pre-test through mail or through Google Form, and if it is being conducted manually, then how we'll manage to check pre-test before our training?
It's difficult, I think. Might be difficult.
Not might be difficult. May I?
Yes, sir.
When such trainings are organized, that actually we do not have any problem, like the teachers. Every teacher has a phone actually. So when they are just given the information, at the same time they should be provided the previous test link. So by the time they arrive to the training, we will have their answers and the knowledge that we want to get about them.
Correct. That's a very good suggestion. Yeah, devices there, everybody uses a phone. So they should be able to. Yeah. Physically in the venue, it's difficult. So here is where we need to leverage technology. Any other questions about? Next 2 workshops is about only presentations from your side, I think. That's how I think they have planned the next 2 workshops. So have they briefed you about the next workshops, or?
No, ma'am, not yet. We haven't been given any information.
Okay. So if there are
we are expecting a physical training as learners, so that all of you as facilitator could be appear physically. We have received all the trainings online. So we are expecting a training offline, in physical training.
Oh, is that being planned?
Nah, I'm just saying, I'm just telling my base.
Suggestion.
No, not suggestion, my desire.
Madam, we
Actually,
would like to meet you in person also.
yeah, that that is what we wish.
Yes, ma'am. Really.
Yeah, I hope to. Let's see. Even I'm hoping that something offline will happen. Uh, because offline the dynamics is very different than the online thing. And actually interact with teachers and know, and it's a different experience altogether. Any other questions? Any other suggestions? Like,
One benefit is I enjoyed today that in offline you cannot have lunch while training. In online you can have. I have taken it.
what are you saying, sir? Like online you can have?
Lunch, breakfast, tea, whatever we want to do that. While
Oh, it's more convenient.
yes, I have just taken my lunch.
Oh, okay. Okay. Any other questions regarding the content? Anything like any doubts?
Ma'am, I have one concern. Ma'am, it's really very difficult to attend the training online and imparting the training offline. It would be, is it possible to conduct at least one training offline?
I think that decision you can talk to Bharti about it, and all of you. If all of you request, probably it will happen. So any other question regarding anything on the agenda, everything, please, you all have my WhatsApp number, so please feel free to ping me and ask anytime. I might not respond immediately, but I will definitely respond because I'm involved in a couple of other projects. So if it needs my proper explanation, I might choose to answer after some time. But please send in your questions, even in the group or personally also you can ping me. So not an issue. So if there's nothing else, we can close for today. Thank you all for attending and participating. I'm happy to see the participation has increased a lot from the last workshop. Uh, now that you're all you're all in transitioning into the role of a facilitator, and the next two workshops are very critical to know that if the transfer has happened from our side to your side. Yeah. Thank you all again.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Have a
you.
good time.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. So Deepa, we can close the call.
Sure, sure.
Okay. I'm leaving now.
Thank you all.